I feel like he's better than me. And Marco drops the question for me this week. And um, um, listen, a few things to think about this. Um, this question, this topic really could go extremely deep. But if we look at this from a very generic perspective, just at the face of the question, is two things come to my mind. One, well, maybe he is better than you, and it's sometimes very difficult for us to acknowledge the fact that somebody who started with us or maybe after us actually could be better than us. Um, but it actually might be true. They, there are so many layers to jiu-jitsu, and there are so many components of our growth as humans that somebody could actually be better in a much shorter period of time, and that really would depend on a variety of different um, components that went into their training and your training, right? What is your focus? What is the time amount of man? What's your consistency? What's your homework? How much time and effort are you putting into this? And the same thing to theirs. But fundamentally, all of this goes down into a very simple thought of comparing ourselves to others. And this is where I think jiu-jitsu becomes the thought of comparing ourselves to somebody else in jiu-jitsu becomes a little toxic. This is where oftentimes we get just too much into our heads, and instead of really focusing on ourselves, we're focusing on somebody else. We're focusing what they are doing, so, on their progress, on their jiu-jitsu, and we forget how important it is for us to focus on us. Because listen, end of the day, it is us, me, or you particularly, that needs to get better at specific things and continue progressing in jiu-jitsu. And if we don't, this is where we become discouraged, and unfortunately oftentimes that path leads into us replacing jiu-jitsu with something else, and not continue training, which in my opinion is completely silly. So let's talk about that for a moment. Why would somebody be better than us, and should we even talk about this? So one, I look at it as two pillars, two segments of this question. As one, identifying whether somebody has something of value to me that I can learn from them. And if the question is yes, absolutely engage with them, talk to them, connect with them, because what if they could actually teach you something that you've never seen, or perhaps you're struggling with, and your life just became easier? Why reinvent the wheel where somebody can just simply show you how to do it, right? So that's one. And number two, maybe, just maybe, this whole idea of them getting better is complete distraction to our training. And this is where I think becomes this gray area of whether we should be looking at our partners or we should be looking at ourselves. End of the day, it is us that we need to continue progressing. It's us that we need to continue getting better. We need to figure out how to do homework, how to prepare ourselves, how to continue studying this beautiful thing, and how to continue enjoying. And this is the last part, the enjoying part. This is where it becomes it becomes interesting, if you will, because the moment we start deviating our focus and start looking around the room, who is better than us and how come they are better than us, we no longer focusing on ourselves, and this is where this comparison starts beginning. And oftentimes, as humans, naturally we just get discouraged, and it becomes really, really difficult for us to continue training. So if I was to give you advice, this is how I would look at this. This is how I still look at it, and I have looked at it in the past, and in the beginning of my journey, if you will. One, I always identify people who are better than you. I always found value with training who are people who are better than me, but I never looked at them as a point of chasing. I never looked at them as point of jealousy, of point of envy, or just not just being upset about the fact that somebody is better than me. I always looked at them as an inspiration. As I always looked at them as a point of, I want to pick their brain. I want to get inside their head because they know something that I don't. And the moment they share that information with me, now I just gain irreplaceable gold mine of golden nuggets of things that maybe nobody would have ever told me. Maybe they're the only ones who can translate information with you. So now imagine if you do this with multiple partners all across. Now you can really share the knowledge. And this goes two-way street. The same thing, if you know things that you see others could improve, sharing their information with others, it's critical to their success, plus increases your ability to teach, which I would imagine at some point everybody wants to get engaged in teaching and sharing their jiu-jitsu. Some do it earlier than others, but we all, I think, at some point acknowledge the fact that we want to share this beautiful art that we've discovered, and why not share it with everybody that we know? So continue on training. Don't get discouraged that somebody is better than you, but at the same time, acknowledge that fact. And if you can pick their brain, if you can train with them, you can ask them questions that perhaps are difficult for you, man, they really could impact your jiu-jitsu and your life in such a great way. Keep on training. Peace.